The Greedy Dog's Great Lesson. Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village, nestled between green hills and crystal clear rivers, lived a dog named Bruno. Bruno was not just any dog. He was clever, fast, and strong. But he had one big flaw. He was extremely greedy. Bruno lived with a kind old baker named Mr. Tommy, who always gave him delicious leftovers: meaty bones, sausages, cheese, and sometimes even slices of sweet pie. But no matter how much he ate, Bruno always wanted more. If he had one bone, he wanted two. If he had two, he wanted three. His greed knew no limits. Bruno's greedy tricks. One sunny morning, Mr. Tommy gave Bruno a big juicy bone for being a good watchdog all night. Bruno wagged his tail happily and ran out to enjoy his prize under his favorite shady tree. But just as he settled down, he saw the neighbor's dog, Lily, chewing on a smaller bone. Greed sparked in his eyes. "That bone should be mine too," he growled. Without a second thought, Bruno rushed over, barked loudly, and scared Lily away. He now had two bones. But was Bruno happy? Not at all. He trotted around the village, looking for more bones, more food, more of anything he could get his paws on. He even snuck into the butcher's shop when no one was looking and tried to steal a sausage. Unfortunately, he knocked over a basket and got chased out with a broom. Still, Bruno thought, "I must have the biggest pile of bones in the world." The bridge and the bone. Later that day, while carrying his large bone in his mouth, Bruno decided to take a walk across the old wooden bridge that stretched over the clear river. As he walked, he looked down into the water and gasped. There, in the river below, was another dog with a bone just as big, maybe even bigger. Without thinking twice, greedy Bruno barked at the other dog to scare him off. But as he barked, the bone fell out of his mouth and splashed into the river. That other dog in the water? It had only been his reflection. Bruno watched helplessly as his precious bone floated away with the current. "Oh no," he cried. "I've lost everything because of my greed." He walked back home, head low, stomach growling, and heart heavy. A wise old owl's advice. As he passed through the woods near the village, Bruno lay down under a tree to rest. Just then, an old owl named Olma, who had been watching everything from a high branch, flew down beside him.
Bruno promised to change, trying to be better. The next morning, Bruno woke up early and decided to act on his promise. When Mr. Tommy gave him a piece of pie for breakfast, Bruno took only half and left the rest for the cat, Momo. Momo blinked in surprise. "What's gotten into you, Bruno?" Bruno smiled sheepishly. "I'm learning not to be greedy anymore." He then went outside and found Lily, the dog he had scared away earlier. She was sitting sadly in a corner. "I'm sorry for scaring you and stealing your bone," Bruno said sincerely. "Here's a fresh one Mr. Tommy gave me." Lily's eyes lit up. "Thank you. That's so kind." Word spread quickly through the village. Bruno the greedy dog was changing. The animals were amazed. He shared his food, helped others, and never took more than he needed. But one final test awaited him. The temptation of the feast. One evening, a big celebration was held in the village square. Tables were filled with pies, roasted meats, bread, fruits, and all kinds of delicious food. Bruno was invited too. As the music played and the villagers danced, Bruno's nose twitched from all the amazing smells. Just a little nibble won't hurt, he whispered to himself. But then he remembered the river, the reflection, the lost bone, and the wise owl's words. He shook his head and instead sat beside the table politely, waiting for someone to offer him a bite. Mr. Tommy noticed and smiled. Look at you. No sneaking, no stealing. You've become a fine, well-behaved dog, Bruno. He placed a full plate of goodies in front of Bruno. You've earned this. Bruno wagged his tail and barked happily. Not only had he gotten tasty food, but he had also earned everyone's respect and friendship. Greedy Greg the fox weeks passed, and Bruno's good behavior continued. One day, a clever but sneaky fox named Greg wandered into the village. Greg had heard tales of Bruno's earlier greed and came hoping to find a partner in crime. You and I, Bruno, we can take everything for ourselves. All the food, all the bones, all the cheese, just imagine. Greg whispered. But Bruno stood tall and firm. Not anymore, Greg. I don't take more than I need. I've learned my lesson. Greg laughed. Suit yourself. And ran off to cause trouble. Later that day, Greg tried to steal food from the farmer's shed, but he got caught in a trap. When the farmer came with a stick, Greg cried, "Help! Someone, help me!" Bruno heard the noise and rushed over. He saw Greg tangled and frightened. Though he had been tempted to walk away, Bruno remembered what it felt like to be alone and ashamed. So he carefully loosened the trap and helped Greg escape. Greg looked stunned. Why would you help me after I tried to trick you? Bruno smiled. Because everyone deserves a second chance. Just like I had. Greg sniffled. Maybe I can try to change too. Bruno the hero. Bruno's fame grew far and wide. He became a hero, not for being the fastest or strongest, but for learning from his mistake and choosing to do good. The village children made up songs about him. Once a greedy dog was he, but learned to share so happily. Now he's loved by all around. A kinder friend can't be found. Even Olma the owl flew down one day to say, "I'm proud of you, Bruno. You've not only learned, but helped others learn too." Bruno wagged his tail and replied, "Thank you, Olma. I may not be perfect, but I'll never let greed take over again." Moral of the story: greed always leads to loss, but kindness and gratitude lead to joy, respect, and friendship.